Hey there, Silver-Tongued Devil here, and in this live stream we're going to be doing some Orphanihilation. So this is the Fletcher sigil from the demonic sigils, and there's a very specific way to play this game, and the problem with it is every time you miss, you deal damage to yourself. However, to counter this, every arrow we draw is going to be a random special arrow. So we are very powerful, but on the other hand, we're also very squishy. There are scarce health drops, only after pits bosses, and there are no shops. This is now kind of true, because Super Bright updated it so that there's actually more health available per cycle after pits and after bosses. Teleport arrows can't deal damage, this is correct. No achievement progression. Super Bright, why must you turn Fletcher into a house of lies? There is achievement progression. What I'm going to be doing tonight, if you are looking at tracking down those last few achievements and you haven't got the ones where you need to kill so many orphans on a run or kill so many orphans in total, this is a good way to do it. This is the way that I did it most recently when I was unlocking, or fully unlocking, another profile on the old Pico. So, first things first, what would I recommend? I would recommend that you have near as damn it 100% progress for this. If you don't have, you want all of your arrows upgraded to maximum at the very least. You'll get all the arrows, but their power will be not negated, but kind of hamstrung a little bit if you haven't got all of the upgrades associated with those arrows. And the whole point is special arrows powerful, we get infinite special arrows. We've just got to not miss. So trying to have a decent amount of achievement progress is a good idea. The one thing that you must have is orphans unlocked in all locations, all pits, and all of the pits unlocked. Also, if you can have the maximum amount of starting health as well, well, that would be really good, and the extra armor. So, first things first, we're going to go and play this on the bow, but you can do what I'm going to do tonight on the crossbow as well. We are going to take, this is another reason why I like this mode, is we are going to take a amulet that I wouldn't usually take. Unusual Fortitude grants 1 additional health. Why are we doing that? To get our health bar up to maximum. And because Blessed Quiver is no good to us, because we're just getting infinite special arrows, we're not going to be able to pick up Titans during this run, because there are none. So we're going to start off with the maximum 12 bars of life. We've also got that armor as well. That'll disappear pretty quickly. The reason why I like this mode is, or one of the reasons why I like this mode, the scoring bar is particularly low. And I found a nice way for you able to get onto that front page reasonably quickly. We should be able to get onto this front page tonight. Now, that's not saying a lot because these scores aren't huge. The reason why these scores aren't huge is because this mode is bloody hard. So, let's try and find a way to make it a little easier, shall we? Once I turn you lot back on. There we go. Who'd I miss? Right. It's been sick on my floor. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to be killing orphans. Just orphans. Nothing else but orphans. Hence why I have titled this stream and why I call this mode Orphanihilation. This is also another really good way to practice hunting orphans, as well as starting to get an idea of where they are likely to spawn, where their locations are, and how to deal with them. So what are we going to do? The way the mode is supposed to be played. Close range headshots. And as you'll see, every time we fire, we get a new special arrow. And you get some particularly good ones. Now, I would say to keep the ranges close, because it's a lot harder to miss that shot than it is to miss that shot, right? But The problem with all of this is enemies move. Enemies have a nasty tendency of flinching after damage and moving out of the way. The other problem as well is if you are rattling through a level and firing all of these special arrows off, you've got the possibility of effects triggering and moving enemies, causing enemies to flinch, causing enemies to die prematurely. What happens when we miss a shot? We take damage. Now, there are a couple of caveats within this mode, a couple of things that will help you play less dangerously. Cupid's Wrath, Divine Sight times 3 times 5 in Cupid's Wrath times 3. If you don't get a hit with the homing arrows in this game, i.e. the ones I just mentioned, it doesn't take any health off of you. Now, this is something that Super Bright added in after this mode came out, because we were basically all like, the homing arrows in this game are bullshit. They just go where they want to sometimes, and it felt unfair that you were losing life. Also, hello, Liz. Well, then this is for you, because this is a way to make this mode easier and for you to score well, a little bit easier, and for you to be able to score well and kill lots of orphans. We are going to be having to go into pits. That's the only negative here. We can't avoid pits because there's good scoring to be had in pits. So here's the kind of problem. I do an effect and it starts killing other enemies, which I might want to kill. And if that wasn't another arrow, him teleporting out the way as I fired would have cost me health. So we've established that killing enemies in this can be particularly difficult. And also, with a lot of the special arrows, you end up not getting headshots because they're explosive or do other effects. So you're not even scoring that much a lot of the time. So how can we counter all of this? We take as fewer shots as possible. Now, what I'm doing here is I am literally firing shots to get certain arrows, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm just cycling through arrows. Divine Sight times 3 at the moment will do the job that we want it to. It's not an ideal arrow, but it's an arrow that we want. So what you want to do is go to an area that's very quiet, maybe up the top there, with very few enemies. And when I say cycle through arrows, just fire arrows into enemies so that you are not taking damage, you're registering hits, with the intent of getting specific arrows. And the reason why we want those specific arrows is because we're going to one-shot orphans with them. So anything that has multiple arrows, times 5s are going to be best, and don't do things like explosive damage. So Cupid's times 3 does work, but not great later on. The best arrow that you can get is probably a toss-up between Divine Sight times 5 or Volley times 5. The reason why I say Divine Sight times 5 within that, because if you miss the close range headshot, you don't take any damage for doing that, whereas with Volley 5 you would. So, now what do we know about the layouts of these? We know that the Orphan is always going to be within Purgatory. The Orphan, our target, is always going to be in the last section of the map. Now, normally I would go straight for that portal, but let's go and demonstrate what we're actually doing first, and then I'll come back. Because at this sort of stage, when it's only cycle 1, we don't need to worry too much. Now, through doing this over and over and over again, I know in this configuration, there's only one place that the Orphan can spawn, and that's actually in that L shape. Oh, she might actually be able to still spawn over there, maybe. But she's usually in that L shape. And so what we want to do, get a decent arrow. Again, that one isn't great, but it's the first one that we've got that will do a job. And we go right bang close to her. Shoot her in the head. She'll do a lovely little backflip for us. And that is 25,000 points. Now we just need to escape. And you do so by just getting the hell out of there as quickly as you can. We're not here to kill enemies. We're here to get those orphans. Now, I'm taking a couple of liberties here and just killing some things that are in the way. But they wouldn't normally be in the way because I would have teleported straight into the portal. Now, let's get all the way over here. So, another tactic, which I'll demonstrate many times. It's what I would usually call an IDU icebreaker or party trick, in that it's kind of like knowledge, but a bit useless knowledge, is that where you teleport into a pit is where you exit from. So if we went into that courtyard in a flurry, teleported straight into the pit without killing any of the enemies in that courtyard, guess what? When we come out, we would be in that courtyard surrounded by enemies. That's bad. That's really bad. If we can see the portal, and even if you can't see the portal, because when you get far enough away from it, I think only on the quest 2, it actually despawns. Ooh, let's test. Can we get far enough away from it where it will despawn? I think with all this quest 3 processing power, I don't think that'll happen anymore. No. You can see my curse is doing work down there as well, but it's still garbage points. It's not really doing a lot for us. So with the quest 2, when you get far enough away, that portal can despawn. It's still there. You can still go in it. You just can't see it. So as long as you know where it is and you're confident that you can hit it, then happy days. Now what we want to do is we want to get close enough to it so that we can hit it with a teleport arrow without getting too close that the enemies that are alerted will be able to take our lunch money. And we do that like this. Lovely, we're in. Now, note where I went in the pit. Where I went in the pit from, i.e. where I fired the teleport arrow from, is where I'll teleport out to when I've finished here. The reason why that is important is I don't want to have to deal with all that garbage that's all the way around the pit. I'm not here for them, I'm here for the orphans. Now the next part of this is we want to go and kill the orphan here, quick sharp. We can go through this quickly. I'm going to basically cycle arrows to get an arrow that is worthy of killing an orphan in one shot. This one is alright, ×3, prefer ×5. We're going to kill that orphan, and then we're just basically going to tidy up the pit. And the moment we are able to leave the pit, we're out of here. Because the orphan is all we're after. So, the thing is, you do have to kill a certain amount of enemies before the pit exit will actually show up. The amount of enemies that you have to kill is about 88 to 92% of the enemies within the pit. And in this mode, that can be quite difficult. Now, again, I'm not taking my time here. I'm going to try and steamroll through this. If you're doing it, take your time, do it in sections, do it as I've shown in previous examples. I'm just doing this for speed at the moment. Oh, cataclysm. Lovely. But remember, we still need... Hello, Melissa. We do need to kill lots and lots and lots of the enemies here. Good. Good. Now... Ooh. What we do want to do... Now, volley 3 isn't a bad arrow. So now what I'm going to do is teleport. Again, take the areas out by sections. Deal with a section or deal with a couple of enemies. Do your luring techniques and the various bits and pieces I've shown how to deal with in pits. I'm doing this in quick time. You don't have to. Especially at later cycles. Even I'll slow down at later cycles. What we're going to do now is go a bit mad. Find that orphan. Kill that orphan. And then Get the hell out of here. If I make it look easy, Liz, it is because I'm highly abusing slow time, which you all should be doing, or at least all be on the road to learning. What I'm hoping to do, if we can get far enough, is I'll try and show off how to play all of this normally, because the way that I'm playing it at the moment, cheeky, I wouldn't consider normal. This isn't the way that you should be tackling a pit. Hell, I wouldn't be killing all of these enemies if I didn't have to. That's the important part about this as well. That's the part to stick with. I'm just trying to rush it so I can show you some progress. It's also another way, if, for instance, you are not particularly good at dealing with pits. Well, I know you take damage in this mode from every miss, so me just saying something like, oh, well, then in that case don't miss, well, that's a bit stupid. See, I take hits here. But one of the important parts is we are very, very, very powerful, especially in the early cycles, with all of these arrows. It'll also get us quite familiar with all of these arrows, the special arrows, their functions and what they do. It'll be a bit annoying, granted, if you haven't played the game much for a while, but this is a great way to learn what does what. And if you're kind of an old hand to the game, like I suppose I am, it's another one of the reasons why I love this mode. We're getting to use all the things that would normally be completely unviable. There are only certain arrows that you really end up using in this game, in the end game of it, when you have been playing it for a very, very, very long time. Certain arrows, and basically because of the way that the meta works, you have to be using certain arrows, and if you don't have those certain arrows, you're just making life hell for yourself, and you won't be able to get as far as somebody who is. There is no one that I can think of that is in the top 10 that isn't using some sort of combination of Winter's Bite, Hand of God, and either Cataclysm ×5, or most likely now, Volley ×5. So one of the other things that we can do to make life a little bit easy, because for those of you who don't have a lot of experience in the pit, if you can get a Hand of God bubble like that, it can make... Ooh, he says as he almost gets his ass handed to him. If you can get a Hand of God bubble down, it can make dealing with ghosts actually very easy. You're not going to help, are you? So, look how slow... I mean, I am using... let's do it somewhere different, shall we, ladies? I am using Hand of God slow time as well. But let's say I just use Hand of God and just plant it anywhere onto a ghost. Look how unthreatening these ghosts are now. I'm not using slow time, I might add. But they're still in slow time because they're within the Hand of God bubble. It's a great way to learn how to use Hand of God as well, because it can be a bit of a rare arrow. See? That's why I don't go for headshots. It just takes those little tweaks, those little movements, those little bits and pieces of nonsense that all of these enemies are capable of, and all of a sudden you're down 1 life, you're down 2, you're down 3, you're down 4, and before you know it, you're like really suffering. Like, we've taken 4 points of damage so far. Granted, one of them I kind of did for demonstration purposes. All the rest of it is legit. Now, this is part of the reason why I advocate this mode, or doing this mode this way, is that there is plenty of life out there for you to collect. And the place that I budget the vast majority of my life loss is in this very pit. You gonna get him? Yeah. Lovely. You're going to have to be dealt with. And now I'm going to have to go back down. Right. See how the golden spunk is coming out of me. There's still enemies around. There's still things that want to hand my shit to me. And fact of the matter is, the exit is open, which means we're gone. We want to grab the health, and we want to leave. Yep, he's worth points. There's still points left in that pit, but the whole point here is health management and going for the high priority targets, because we've only got so much life. So now we're back to full life. And we've already, so we've KO'd the orphan in the pit with one shot. We've KO'd the orphan in the level. And we're basically just going to repeat that process. Out of the way, please, gents. Oh, you're in my way. You want to genuinely avoid killing anything else as well, because all of those little flinches, the way that I look at this mode is every shot that you take is unnecessary, is a potential for you to lose life. Hello, Morviar. How we doing? God, you're not asking much, are you? Jeez. Well, I will try and deliver, sir. So, again, I don't want to be dealing with any of this. I'll probably go through cycle 2 the way that I would go through this properly if I was playing properly without as much commentary. But notice how I've just made my way here. I'm not even going to deal with all of those abominations up the top. The likelihood is as well, and again, another reason why I do it this way, is all of those special arrows, a lot of the time as you're throwing them out there, the special effects will kill the enemies. So all you'll get score-wise is body shots. And as we know, body shots don't score us anything. You'll get the gold, and yes, you can get quite a decent executioner bonus by killing lots of enemies very, very quickly. But still, it's still, in my always humble opinion, Vaughn, it's still not as good for your points. Again, this mode is about longevity. If you can get very far, then you can kill a lot of orphans, and orphans are worth a lot of points. Hello, Mr. Vega. So, we are... Now, one of the things that people that have only just started playing the game will be used to is burning down Anakin. Oh, that's a bit close. Burning down Anakin. Just shoot. Note how much slow time I'm doing here as well. Shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time. And he's dead. I even took a hit there as well. Doesn't matter too much. So this is the improvement, or this is the difference that they have made to this mode now, is instead of 1 health in the pits, it's now 2. Instead of 2 health at the end of a boss, it's now 3. So you are getting 5 plus 5 plus 6. Hang on. No, you're not getting 5 plus 5. 5 plus 5 plus another 3. So you are getting 13 Bloods of the Lamb per cycle. Now that's even more health than I was getting when I originally developed this, and the reason why I developed it this way is because we weren't getting quite so much health. Now, what does that mean? Should I change my tactics? No, I'd say stick to this, and you should, in theory, be able to go even further because you've got more opportunities to heal. There is, however, another way, which is the way that I know Elite Jonathan or Jonathan Jimbo also plays it, and I think Camille does this, or used to do this as well, where he'll actually take out enemies knowing how much health he has to collect in the rest of the level, and when he starts getting low, only then will he leave, to basically try and maximize the points that you would get out of a level. The only problem that I still have with that, and still find with that, and this should ring true with anybody who's played Fletcher, is, well, when you start losing life in Fletcher, you don't just lose 1, you lose 2, and then 3, and then another 1, and then an arrow hits you, and all of a sudden it's starting to get dangerous. So that's why I would say only kill what you have to. At the moment, I am literally killing things to try and cycle a decent arrow for the orphan. Oh, look. Volley 5. And we took a hit there as well, but I don't really care. And we'll get up there. Any time today? No? Okay. Well, let's go somewhere else then. That was a bit rubbish. Hang on, I'll say hi to whoever that was in just a second. I'll get my ass handed to me here. Good way to learn how to cycle, skip, or rooftop hop. And it's actually a very valuable skill here as well. So, as I said, learning where the orphans are. This particular config, again, we are in the second part of Paradise Lost. This is where the orphan has to spawn. Last section of Purgatory, last section of Paradise Lost before you take on the boss or go to the boss's area. 2 seconds. Oh, hello, hello, Dan. How are you doing? It did not sound like Dan through my bloody TTS. Correct, Al. So this is another thing with now getting 13 opportunities to heal. If the odds are only just in our favour, then technically, I think, I don't know if there's any math buffs about you there, but every 4 heals we should get a double. So across the 13 heals that we get across the level, we should get 4 doubles. So that means, hang on, 1, 2, no, we should get 3 doubles, like minimum. So that means we're getting the opportunity to heal up 15 blocks. So this is why I don't really need to worry about losing life at this stage. So, orphan-wise, she can be on the dance floor, in the back. There's a little room over here that she can be, and I think she can be up the top as well. But let's go and have a listen. Nope. Now, this is one of the only problems with Paradise Lost, is sometimes, even though you are right next to the orphan, she won't spawn because there's too many enemies about. In that circumstance, sometimes you do just have to start taking out enemies to try and get her to spawn. She doesn't seem to be spawning. Let's go and have a listen down here. But usually, if you visit really close to where she is, she'll pop up. It doesn't seem to be at the moment, so let's kill some enemies. Ow! That can happen. If she is, that's one of the scenarios, Al. Oh, bloody misses. This is why I don't want to take shots I don't want to have to take. Because that's just loss of life right there. But we're having to unveil that orphan. It doesn't always go like this. Sometimes the orphan will be allowed to spawn, even though there's a lot of enemies. This is the part of the game that I can't really tell you I understand. I don't know what the orphan's priority is, and like how many enemies or how little amount of enemies there has to be about before she'll be allowed to spawn, because it seems a bit random, if I'm completely honest. Right, let's kill some more of these guys. All of those. The only... Oh, God, they're really getting me through the shield tonight. Again, I'm not actually that worried, though, because we've got 3 heals at the end of this level, and then we've got a load of other heals, and we can kind of bin out on this at any time we like as well. I'm surprised the orphan hasn't spawned yet, though. I should kill a few of them. Let's go and have another listen down the bottom here. I haven't even heard her. I'll be very annoyed. I'll be very annoyed if she's already spawned, but I haven't heard her. I don't think anyone else has. Can I have a quick... Or have I... Oh, there is a... Okay, well, there's one more spawn that I forgot about. There you go. Job done. And we leave. So I didn't actually... I probably didn't have to do all of that. That's, me forgetting that there's an extra orphan spawn at the top there. Look, right, we know that memory is not one of my strong suits, okay? Not a strong suit. Right. And again, so this should be quite a nice example of why it doesn't matter if you actually take quite a lot of damage. We're down to half health right now. Which is bad, right? So, Gabriel done in the normal fashion. Send him off. Do not take any long shots at him. Keep all of your shots short. The reason being, well, I know I'm being a bit uppity on like the amount of life that you can lose here, but we don't want to be losing any more, I can tell you that much. Divine Sights, go for. Cataclysms, if you put them into him, be aware that the explosions can make him move. Holy Lights, do not fire at him unless he is like breathing down your neck, because they are so easy to miss. And note how I'm not going for headshots, I'm going for body shots. And the reason being is because, well, I don't want to miss once again. So that volley 3, yes, I could fire that at him at long range and I've got a decent chance of hitting. I'm not going to take that risk. Why would I take that risk? I'm literally going to wait for him to do his swoop attack. There we go. Wait for him to get in close. Again, if you can slow time well, this is one of the places that you can use it. And don't rush him. He's already got explosives in him. So so this is another important thing as well, is part of the reason why you want to be abusing slow time when you're doing this is so that you can keep half an eye on what effects you are putting out there. Because if you put a Cataclysm ×5 out there and it lands in and amongst you, they've still got to explode. This is where everybody loses all of their life within this mode. Is like effects are down and it kills the enemies that you're just drawing on. And I guarantee you those effects will go off the moment that you lose and you'll miss because of it. It's just how this mode works, which is why, it's part of the reason why I do what I do, and we try and minimize the amount of shots that we're taking, and we do that by just saving specific arrows for specific enemies. So let's see how much life we can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 12. 1, 1, 2. And that's what I would usually expect to get. Out of every 3 heals, one of them would be a 2. So we're almost back up to full health again. Now this is the reason why you take Unusual Fortitude, because being able to store 12 blocks of life at all times is better than having an extra thing of armor or a bit of gold or various bits and pieces, or like, you know, Blessed Quiver does nothing for us here. So Abyss is the exception to the rule. It's not a rule. Oh, I wish it was. I wish I could say the Orphan always spawns in the last section of any world within a cycle. But that's not true. The Orphan can spawn in either the first or the second area of Abyss, which can make it a bit annoying because, you know, it isn't quite as predictable. Anyway, let's play along the lines of, we've got an Orphan coming up, so we want to put shots in. Oh, yeah, no, that is a... The thing is, if she's shadowed like that and she's that far away, that is one of the few times where you can see her and she can see you, but she won't run. She won't leave. And the reason being is because that is outside of her, like, zone of influence. Now, one of the things that we do have to do here is we have to go down and check. There's a lot of explosives around, that's why we're not firing another shot. We have to go down and check and see if the pit's down there. It is not, and that's all we were here for, just checking, because that's the only location that's kind of like underground and hidden where we would not be able to see the pit if there was one. The rest of this level, we want to be keeping our eye out for the pit. I believe it can be over here. Nope. You can fire at that range, but then she will be alerted by your arrow. Oh, that's annoying. I haven't got a decent arrow. ×3 Winter's Bite isn't too bad because we get that second hesitation from her. She doesn't go through the full effects of freeze, but right through the nose. Poor you. So that's our Orphan done. And now all we need to do is find the pit. So that's the Orphan within the level done. Now, again, this is another good way to find or get an idea of where all the orphans and all the pits are, the possible locations, because if you keep running this, you will, I know it all looks different, but if you run this all long enough, you'll start seeing which configurations are which. They say that this is procedurally generated. It's kind of not. It's procedurally generated in that the levels are generated. The order that they can be in is random. And there's like 8 to 10 configurations for each season. A long time ago, they used to change the configurations each season or each time they did an update. They stopped doing that recently, which was a bit annoying. Fire the range. Yeah. Again, though, these are all the unforeseen things that they have by upping everything and not playtesting it. Or I don't think they've playtested it enough. But then the thing is, like little graphical glitches and little bits and pieces, well, it's kind of the way of the world now, isn't it? All of this stuff gets sorted afterwards. They don't bother doing it beforehand. Where's the bloody pit? There's no underwater. It should be there, then, if it's not. So normally the pit was spawned there. We can't have gone past it. Maybe we've gone past it. Is it down there? I hope it's down there. And it's just not spawned in yet. Huh. Oh, I know where it is. Yes, she's worth almost 3 times as much in the pits. Right. This is one of those... Hang on, wait, what? I swear it would be here. That's silent. Right, hang on. Then we must have missed it. Better go back. Try not to miss the pit on your first go through. So like the first cycle is obviously me doing the part where I'm showing you all the things not to do. So it is actually a bit of an example. I'm not going to say that it was on purpose because it definitely this was not a played for and got scenario. This is part of the danger that you have by being quite blasé and not checking for the pits or like orphans in both sections, because you might get to the second section and it's not there, which then means you have to go back, and you're going to have to go back through potentially lots of nastiness, because as you've been cycle skipping, rooftop hopping, bottom dwelling, whatever you want to call it, just moving through the level without killing anything, you're still alerting and getting enemies to engage you, which pulls them out of position, clumps them up into areas that you're not familiar with where they are, and can, potentially be very, very nasty. Let's go up there. Oh, I hate that bit. Oh, I hate that bit, because the arrows never stick in. They never stick in. Never stick in, or at least at that range they don't. There we go. Right, that one's stuck in. So yeah, all of these enemies that I just bounced past earlier. Oh, there it is. Hi-ya-ya-ya-ya-ya-ya. Rooftop hop indeed. Right. This is a potentially dangerous area, and we don't really have anywhere that we can get into there without everything being alerted. I don't think. Oh. Having said that, this'll do. So, I'm thinking of the wrong one. That's actually probably the rarest of the spawns of portals. You almost never see it there, or at least I don't anyway. So, again, just to give you that example, if I go down here and wanted to teleport in from here, well, I've got to take all this shit out first. Now, yes, there's points here. Yes, it'll get me kills. Not worth much. And I don't think it's worth our health bar. If I go all the way back up here, however... I might have to go... Oh, well, we'll lure these guys in. If I go all the way back here, however, all of that stuff has disappeared. This is us making use of the rule of 17, but there's also another thing in there as well, which... is that enemies can only spawn in if they are so close. Will you get you? Yeah, don't need to get that one, but... Hey! So, there are a lot of enemies down there. If we teleport down there, we'll have to deal with them, because we'll be in proximity of them to spawn them. Part of the reason why they haven't spawned at the moment is there is a lot of enemies around us at the moment, and the rule of 17 in this game then applies. The rule of 17 being that only 17 enemies can be spawned in around you. If enemies are in spawnable distance but are too far away, they won't spawn in. So this is kind of taking advantage of that factor and spawning in from somewhere that's safe. Now, these enemies we will have to take out because this is a pit, and so because this is a pit, we are going to have to kill a certain amount of enemies before we can leave. Again, this, if you're going to purposely aim for headshots, is where you do it. Why? Hold still. Because headshots are at least worth 2.5 times more here. This is where Curse comes in nice as well. Not on that one, though. Lovely. So, yeah, if you're going to try and get headshots anywhere, do it here. But do it really close. So, the other thing that we are looking for whilst we are doing this is our KO arrow for the Orphan. Hellfire is not going to cut it. Divine Sight, we can just slam into a wall. Winter's Bite times 3, I think we can do better. Or take a hit, one of the two. Tempest, no. Cataclysm, no. Divine Sight times 3 is probably the best one that we've had so far. So let's get over there. Find her. She'll be to our left here. Dump it in her face. That didn't go quite so well. And this is why you want to be able to KO her in one shot, because it avoids this stupid chase. And this stupid chase is where you'll take damage. That's a good arrow, though. Now that we've killed her, provided on how busy it is, you could stay and fight. What we should do is just get the hell out of here and retreat. All of this nastiness that we've rustled up will come to us and will engage it on our terms, as opposed to being right in the depths of things. I'm not saying that I can't, I'm just trying to make this as recreatable as possible. So you should always get in there, do the nasty, get out again. Nope, that is quite right. It's a good point, actually, Athom. If you are particularly doing well on life, say, for instance, you've got a decent arrow, but not like a ×5 volley or what have you, one of the things that you could do, providing you have the achievement, is dip your toe in the lava purposely to take damage, so that your shot for the Orphan is a more powerful one. For those of you who don't know, there's an achievement within the game where if you take damage, your next shot is either 100, 200 or 3% more powerful. And that works in conjunction with special arrows as well. So, again, life is here, we'll take it. And there's lots of enemies. There's still enemies to be had here. There's still headshots. But I'm not interested. I'm just going. I'm just going to leave. Just going to leave. So far we have killed one Orphan in Purgatory, one Orphan in the Purgatory Pits, one Orphan in Paradise Lost, one Orphan in the Abyss, the level, one Orphan in the Abyss Pits, we are now at 300,000 almost. On to Asmo. So this is also assuming that you can do all 3 of the bosses as well. But one of the things that I would say is once you get over the factor of misses and reducing those, and also like the game being a little bit against you in some regards, there's been plenty of times where I've fired arrows and they've gone through people, and now that's even worse. That results in damage. But it does happen. But these are all the little caveats and all the little things and reasons why I say get through, shoot at as little as possible, get to the end, on to the next stage, and just take the targets of opportunity, the high point scoring things. Because as you'll probably see, if I can get 300,000 per cycle, then I can ratchet up quite a quick score quite quickly. Like, for instance, well, we'll have a look at the time in a minute. What did I started this about 45 minutes ago? And if I wasn't talking and demonstrating points, you can probably get this down to about half an hour per cycle. And it doesn't really increase in time much from cycle to cycle either, because the only thing that would be of note that is becoming more difficult would be the pits. And that's because we have to take the enemies out there to be able to progress. And the orphans obviously get a larger health pool, but that doesn't concern us quite so much because we can usually construct the one-shot KO arrows. And that is very much what we want to be doing. I haven't given very good examples of that at the moment, but I'm hoping to do that in the next cycle. So, quick wet. Hello, Mr. Popo. Yes, don't worry, that's part of the experience. Maybe close your eyes and look away just for, give me like 5 minutes whilst I do them. But one of the things that I would say is learning how to do Asmodeus by yourself is quite an achievement. Then you go through videos like mine and Rico's and Monk Hunters and Beanie and all those other people that do videos on this game to refine the techniques. Slow time. Slow time, slow time, slow time. The thing is, this isn't going to be a very good example for you either, because I'm doing this with all sorts of special arrows. You need to be cycling. Oh, that's... So, for those of you who are trying to do the sigil, like I am, this is the arrow that we want. Thanks, Von. This is the arrow that we want. Quick battery check whilst we slow time. Yeah, quick back. Don't mind me, Asmo. Hello, Momity. Yes, he is. I've kind of started getting back into using the shard because the tracking's good for it now. But there was a time when you didn't have to be as good as Rico is with the shard to get really good use out of it, and they kind of patched that out. So, for these boils, what I would recommend, and only do this if you have the achievement that puts the timer up on skulls, exploding head killer I think it is I want to get them all coming towards me, and when they all come towards me, I turn around and I simply do little bounds and run away. And they've all exploded. And I'm in no danger. You do need to have exploding head killer achievement level 3 for that level of timing to be able to get away. Otherwise, that is quite dangerous. Do not fire divine sights or Cupid's wraths at Asmo when you are dealing with him normally. It's a nightmare. Or when you're on the opening volley. When he's the last shot, even this is dangerous, and I'll demonstrate why, shall I? One of them hits the boil, the other ones turn around and come for the skulls. They have a nasty tendency, well, I'll demonstrate, shall I? They have a nasty tendency of connecting with the skulls, just as the skulls get to me. So in essence, making their timer delay 0, which then means the skulls get to you, explode instantly, and you take damage. That's why you avoid using homing arrows at those parts. Oh, that's a good arrow for here, because that will kill pretty much everything. Lovely. We try and kill these as quickly as possible, because they're nasty. And then we get round here. We have a little peeky. Reason why we sit here is because nothing will move other than the archers to get towards us, which then means that, well, normally you would use this to then start taking out enemies. Again, effects-wise, will do a lot of the job for me here. I don't actually have to work for it. Well, you've done very well there, haven't you? How am I going to headshot you? That's a perfect arrow for here, really. Let's pop that down. And that one down. Again, note, a lot of the time I'm not going for headshots. The reason being is because, well, headshots are easy to miss, especially when they start flinching. Incubi, when you've got cataclysms in them, 1 or 2 more shots if you're slow timing, and then stop. Reason being is because if he had more life, those explosions would send him all over the place whilst you're lining up an arrow, which you then loose and miss. That's more health gone. We don't like that. Do not... You can cycle arrows on Asmo. By cycling, I mean going through the arrows that we've got to get the arrows that we want. You can, without it costing us damage, because you can cycle the arrows just by firing them, but every time you miss, they'll hit. Do not shoot at him when he has his swirly, whirly, flamey, wamey shield. Technical term, that is. Look it up. When that goes down, because if you hit his shield right now, it will not count as a hit, and you'll take damage. It'll count as a miss. When that's gone, we can shoot him anywhere, and it counts as a hit. So, the next thing that we want, so this is complete opposite to the first stage in Fletcher. We now do want homing arrows. The more the merrier, and explosive is even better. Reason being, when he stacks up for his Hadoken skull, these will destroy that and then usually loop round and start doing some damage to his dorsal flanges. Again, technical term, look it up. That is the perfect combination of arrows that we could hope for. Those will take out the skulls. That one may up and hit the dorsal flange. No, okay. That one will, and it'll take it out, and the other ones will do some damage to the other side. Now we go back to cycling until we get an arrow that we want. No, no. Hand of Gods go at his groin. If you cup Asmo with a Hand of God, you'll actually put him into slow time. Little known fact. Divine Sight ×3, that'll do us. Now, putting him into slow time is great, but remember that he throws when his boulders are released, they come at you in normal time. The slow time affects him, not the speed of his boulders, which can actually make them quite difficult to get out of the way of. I just put that there as an example. So again, Hadoken skull, homing arrows, because we can't take damage for misses from this, and we're letting the arrows basically do the work for us. And that one went up and hit his dorsal flange. And then what you should do is wait, cycle on his body for good arrows and then fire at the dorsal flange. But also you are a little limited on time as to how long he leaves his dorsal flanges hanging out there. So we do have to take him out at some sort of speed. So there is a little bit of an element of luck to it, but if you can spend all day with him there and you shouldn't get hit as long as you can vogue out of the way with the shard. One for you, one for you, one for you. Let's get him dealt with quickly as possible. Now, this is actually quite bad, because if we get a curse, we don't want to be taking the incubi out. But again, I give you these examples so that you don't have to fall into these pitfalls. What you should do in that circumstance is wait for Asmo's shield to go down and then cycle the curse on him. Hitting that incubi with the curse has caused the curse to spread around this field. At this point, the only enemy that we should be taking out is the monk. Why? Because it stops the next waves spawning. So now we've created ourselves quite a lot of work in that we've now got a lot of enemies to take out that we didn't need to. But, you know, it's a good example, isn't it? So again, yeah, just take out the monk here. It can actually be quite difficult to do that, because you might hit a curse or a lightning bolt or something along those lines that will kill a lot of enemies very quickly, as opposed to the one that you want. And here, all we do is we cycle for that Cataclysm either ×3 or ×5, aim at the forehead, and that will usually do him. That should finish him off, I think. That one will. There we go. But yeah, a Cataclysm ×3 or ×5 when he's resting, i.e. just before he throws a boulder, and fired at his forehead should, I mean it's easy with a ×5, should usually destroy both of his horns, so you can take him down nice and quick, which is what we want to do. Another 3 health, we'll take 1, we'll take 2, and we've got 1 left. Now, this is what I was talking about other people taking this technique of mine, and, or, well, ours, mine, whatever, and taking it on 1 step further, which is staying in the level and knowing how much life there is coming up at the end and how much they should be able to heal with. If you're good enough to do that, do it. But I'd say stick to what I'm showing you, because with Fletcher, with Purist, and especially now with Mortal, it can all go downhill fast. And so if you've got maximum amount of health and you're not dicking around, that shouldn't be a problem. Now, let's go and have a look at where 1 cycle of just killing the orphans, just killing what's in the pit to escape, and just killing the bosses would get us in the world. So bear in mind, I think I had done a quick go on Fletcher, but it was just for demonstration purposes or finish something off. So I was at 200. I have now gone to 25th in the world. Oh, look. Did I just see... There's Jade's Fry there. There's a bit... Let's see that this score beats Mr. Fish. And there he is, look. I thought I saw Athon. One of our own. So, 1 cycle. Just take out the orphans. Will get you in the top 25 at the moment. And if you can repeat that just once, i.e. do it through cycle 2. Come on, Leaderboard, help us out here. We'd be able to get on the front page. And then if we could do it 3 times, we'd be able to get into the top 10. And the reason being is because this mode played properly, because this isn't proper. This isn't the way that you should play. The way that you should play is getting every headshot, doing executioner bonus and killing quickly and making use of the special effects and doing all that nasty, very... No, Athom. No. So, doing... The way that you should do it is headshots where you can, executioner bonus, kill everything in the level. The reason why I don't is because I found that that would only get me an extra maybe 100,000 points, but would risk killing me and ending my run. This way I can maintain a reasonably decent life bar without any real risk to myself, because the only real risk if you are good at slow time and good at rooftop hopping is in the pit and bosses. So again, sat back here, all of these enemies are spawned, these enemies are spawned, all of those ones are not spawned. If we take a little bit of a step back, nothing can actually get to us, throw axes to us, or any bits and pieces like that. Then all we have to do is land this shot. Now, do you remember how I said that this isn't a particularly great example, but this hand's controller will vibrate when you are pulling a teleport arrow and aiming to a surface that you can teleport to. Like, for instance, my right controller is teleporting now. That's letting me know that if I loose this teleport arrow, where it hits is where I'll teleport up onto, probably on top of that wall there. If I point it down here, this stops vibrating. Why? Because you can't teleport into the sky. But if I aim it over here, it's vibrating. And this is a good way to get a gauge of whether a teleport arrow is going to land or not. Because we've all been there where we fired a teleport arrow and it's hit something that wasn't going to allow us to teleport, like that. And so by just aiming off to the left a little bit, I'm getting that vibrational feedback, and I know that if I fire that now, I'll land somewhere and teleport there. We can kind of use that here, but this is more of an eye thing, which hopefully I don't get wrong, and we need to be ready to move back very quickly. No, bullseye. Easy. If needs be, take enemies out in the vicinity so that you can get a bit closer than the shot that I just made, just to make your life a little bit easier. Now, again, the further through the cycles that I get, the more and more cautiously I will play this. However, let's throw caution to the wind a second. Let's try and cycle through our arrows. That's all I'm doing at the moment, trying to get a decent arrow to take the Orphan out with. Cupid's Wrath will not cut it. No. Wildfire times 5, that'll do the job. So again, lots of slow time whilst I'm moving. Slow, slow, slow. Teleport, slow, 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 slow. Slow, 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 slow. Where is that Orphan? Where has she gone? Oh, she's not going to be up here. Let's go and teleport over here now. She's over here. So that means there's one of two places that she could be, which is probably going to be either up there or up there. Where are you little shit? Oh, don't tell me you haven't... Oh, she could be over here, actually. Ah, hello! Orphanihilation in full effect. Minus 2,480 damage. So that's how much damage we just put up onto her. The reason why we do this is we want to be able to one-shot her before she is ready to move. Why is that? Well, it's just a lot easier that way. We've all chased orphans, like the fucking Benny Hill show, and it gets you killed, doesn't it? So go in there, end her in one. And the way you do that is by selecting those ×3 and specifically ×5 arrows and hitting her in the head at close range. And what that does, and you can do this on any enemy, I might add as well, it doesn't necessarily have to be orphans. If you put a ×5 arrow into an enemy's face, you'll see that all 5 go into them, even though that's not how the arrows are fired. They still all go in, and it just does silly amounts of damage. Like if I take a step back, only the middle one hit and the other ones fly off elsewhere. But if you get close enough, they all stick in. They then all count, they then all do tons of damage. Now, next question should be, okay, well, if you're getting that close and putting 5 headshots in, do you get 5 headshots worth of points? No. You only get, it only counts, it still only counts as 1. It still only counts as 1. But if you can get close enough to anything, you can do it with that as well. And look at his life bar completely disappear. Trying to get multiple headshots on Incubi is always a good thing, but do not put your life bar at risk to do it. Equally, don't do what I just did either. Do it all close with reasonably safe arrows, and remember that you've got effects going down all the time as well. So again, we are literally now tidying up as fewer enemies as possible so that we can leave. We don't want to be here anymore. Mission accomplished. Just kill enough to get the fuck out of here. Cursed. Lovely. You like it. So, when you get a Hand of God is a good time to try and police up and get following you lots of ghosts. Because it, you know, lots of ghosts coming through Hand of God is just easy kills. Oops. He says as he gets tapped. And so I'm using slow time on top of slow time, which means that everything is ridiculously slow. Still taking hits here, but as I said, it's this pit and this pit in specifics, i.e. the one on Purgatory, that I budget for losing all of my life on, because this pit can be an absolute asshole, or all three of the pits can be absolute assholes at later stages in your cycle runs. Careful when you're dumping multiple arrows into enemies, because there's lots of effects going on there and lots of things happening. I've done it enough now where I've got a pretty good idea as, you know, what's happening, what's going on. Let's see if we can kill some more of these. Let that one go in close. Interesting. Looks like skeleton warriors are at it now, teleporting behind me, because I don't remember looking there on the way in. Destroying my rules. How dare they? How very dare they? So we should be getting to the point now, hopefully, where the portal will open up. So the other thing that I like about this mode as well is, or doing it this way, is it's completely throwaway. I do not feel like I have invested any time in this run whatsoever, because I've done so very little so far. So even if I do die, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, it's not like I've spent 20 hours getting to 25th in the world. I've, like, spent an hour getting to 25th in the world. Ow. That's why you try and not aim for the head. Those ones won't matter, because they're homing. And here we go. We are now spunking gold. Which means the pit's up. Grab the health. Grab the health. We've still got another 3 health to collect from Anakin when we kill him as well. So it would be at this stage, if I wasn't well versed in my own strategy, that you could now purposely go around killing enemies until you lose another block of health. It'll inevitably happen, but you might be able to clear the entire map before that happens. I do get it. There'll be people that'll be like, yeah, but by not doing that, you know, you're wasting resources. True, but I then go back to what I've said previously, in that you start messing with this little formula, and as we know with Purist, and as I can guarantee you with Fletcher, you don't lose health one chunk at a time usually when you're legitimately losing health. You lose one to a hit, then you panic fire and lose another, probably followed by another because you panic fired again, and then you might take another hit and all of a sudden you're 4 health down. So we have got a decent arrow. It's a ×5. Not the greatest, but wildfire does do a hell of a lot of damage. Orphan over here. Teleport right next to her. Full draw in the face. 2,480 damage. Thank you very much. Good night. You got it, actually, El. That's, yeah. As I said, these aren't, like, adding on to my core strategy is what other people have done. And, hey, if it works for them, happy days. You know, I get it. You don't want to have to follow everybody exactly the way they do it. But Al is quite right. It's, you know, if I was at cycle 2 now, and had cleared every single level and killed every single enemy, and then some glitch ended my run, or, you know, I lost my save, you know, I'd be like 3 hours in at that point, and I'd be a bit pissed off, if I'm honest. But when I'm just cycle skipping and killing orphans and killing bosses, it just feels so throwaway. It really does. Hello, K2. Right. So the other beauty of this technique as well is for those of you who are good at burning Anakin down with cataclysms, you can burn him down almost as fast. Do use your... the menace is here. Do use your arrows. Do use your slow time. Try not to fire too fast. Do go for headshots. It's headshots that stagger him. And be aware of all the effects that you are putting on him. And you don't also need to be too concerned about taking damage, because we're going to be healing 3 in a minute. Although, I don't know if we're taking that because of proximity damage. Ow! What the hell is all of this coming from? Chill out. God, I'm almost dead. That was not good. But yeah, so if you can get... one of the things that you can do for him as well... Yeah, we'll get it back easy. One of the things... I'm just a bit out of practice. One of the things that you can do for Anakin in that scenario as well, sitting on here isn't quite as good an idea, because if you don't get a Hand of God off quite quickly, he can get close enough to you to be touching you with his aura. So you've got 2 options in that circumstance. You can either cycle through the enemies of the game just before you come down to here for a good arrow, which we'll see about doing next. Anyway, let's see how this streamer luck works out for me. 1, 2, 1. There you go. So we're 4 off the top. Now, we shouldn't lose. Famous last words. Shouldn't lose any health in Paradise Lost. But we're kind of still on budget. There's 3 health opportunities for us at the end of this level. And there'll be more in the next level as well. So we just got to get through it without getting touched. Again, there's... the other thing I will say as well is there's a lot of things that I'm doing that so that I can demonstrate. So this is actually worked out very nicely, and this is how I'd normally do it. Like, I wouldn't be sat here explaining slow time, and I'd be moving, which I'll try and do now. But we're on volley 5 at the moment. Volley 5 is a fantastic arrow for us, because if we can find that orphan... Oh, yeah. That was my own fault. That was a bad arrow, Ripley. There. And this is the only problem that I can foresee with... Oh, crap, that was a bad idea. There you go. He's an IDU dogger. So, this is one of the problems that you may have. Can be a real problem as well, as you just seen, is that if you've got the perfect arrow for taking the orphan, as I always describe it, it's kind of like that scene from the first Pirates of the Caribbean where he's telling Orlando Bloom to get out of his way because this shot is not meant for you. And it's kind of the same with this Volley 5. These shots are not meant for these plebs. They are orphan shots. Orphan all the way. Anyway, let's get into the danger zone. Where are you, you little shit? Is she down the bottom? Nope. Not out the front. And basically what you do is you visit all the potential areas that she can be in. And note how things are... Because I'm moving around fast without too much regard for the enemies. Things are spawning in and despawning so quickly that it doesn't matter too much. Are you in here? Hello. Mission accomplished. Back to base. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Rooftop hopping at its finest. And the moment that we teleport onto this, anything that was going to teleport onto us, was going to attack us, was going to come and visit, is just basically deleted. And that's a load more points in the bag. We only took one hit. This is, so as hopefully what I'm demonstrating, this is the way that I play this game. I haven't played it like this for a while. But, you know, we come preloaded with excuses on this channel at all times. At least 5 in effect at all times. And so my excuse of the day at the moment is about practice. But even out of practice, I should be able to recover my health pretty quickly. Now, if I was dicking around trying to get headshots on inconsequential enemies that are not worth much points, I'd probably be dead 2 or 3 times over right now. So, right, let's do you properly. Winter's Bite. As I've said many times before, if you pop a Winter's Bite into an enemy, we're here for damage. We're here to get him down quickly. If you pop a Winter's Bite into a big boss like this, and then you get another arrow that does some sort of status effect to them, a different one, or even the same, like Wildfire or Pestilence or Curse, don't shoot it into them until the initial thing is finished. You're just doing yourself out of points of damage. I think that Curse is locked onto him, so we'll let the Curse finish. Or we could just replace it with something else, another effect. I haven't got one at the moment, so barrage of needles, Tempest for the head, Tempest for the head, barrage of needles, Wildfire. And we'll let that Wildfire cook. It's not a lot of damage. Wildfire is probably one of the exceptions to the rule. Pestilence as well doesn't do much. And then once he's retreating and gets out of that kind of easy to hit range, stop shooting. You'll just lose health. You really will. Hand of God is perfect here. We are fletchering. We're always fletchering. Look at all of this free damage that I can kind of get in on him. And I can even now afford to step in between his sword swings because of slow time and the bubble. And note how I didn't fire any more arrows because I judged that he was taking enough tick damage from the Wildfire and the lightning that he was, you know, Omoyo Amu Shinderu, he was already dead. So at that point, when you think you've got to that point, stop firing. It's important on Gabriel, and it is also important on Anakin as well. You can lose a lot of life by firing extra arrows off that you don't need to right at the end. And how are we doing on life? Almost back to top. The only time I would worry on this is if I wasn't going into an end boss fight and I was like down to my last couple of hits. Because remember, it's misses as well that count, and you know, anybody can miss anything at any bloody range the way the enemies work on this game sometimes. So but there you go. Right, so what do we like at score? So we are just under 500,000. Now that's, thank you. Thank you, More. So that puts us at just under 500,000. What we'll do is we'll complete this cycle, go and have a look at the leaderboard and see where we stand. So the big hitters whilst you're doing this are in the pits. Specifically the orphans. That's why I would say if you've got the experience to be able to... Oh, no worries, Melissa. If you've got the experience to be able to jump in and kill the orphans straight away before anything else and then deal with the rest of them, it is the safest way to make sure that you get the orphans, because if you're doing this and we're taking out so fewer targets, we must get the orphans at every opportunity, because if you're not, you are giving a lot of points away. At the moment, I'm just looking for easy opportunities, easy shots, so that I can cycle my arrows to try and get something worthwhile. That's not it. That's ideal. And that'll also kill some of the cupids as well. So, let's go orphan hunting, shall we? Knowing our luck, we'll see the pit beforehand. The other thing to note as well is the pits. Let's have a look here. So, I know there's a summoner down there. That's of no interest to us. There are... Ooh, that's of interest to us, though. I see me, an orphan. Hello! Good night! Bye-bye! Simple. 25 grand. One shot. Done. You can have that as well. And again, we just want to keep on moving at this point and checking the various pit locations. I know that it can spawn there, and I think, as we saw earlier, it can spawn over there as well. And there are the underground sections. Luckily, this bit doesn't have any underground sections. One of the other things that you can do that I've just spied, and I can now give up the search, is, and on my beautiful Quest 3, I can see it, and you guys should be able to see the portal in the next section. And so I know that I can give up the search here. I don't need to look for the portal, because I can see that it is in the next section. So off we go. We've got the orphan already, so we don't need to worry about looking for an orphan in this second section either. My memory is, well, good enough in the short term that I can remember that we've killed the orphan. I would also, on the abyss, especially if you have memory issues like me, kill the orphan first before going into the pits. Many a time I've come out of the pit and can't remember whether I've actually killed the orphan in the level or not already. So it's not a bad shout. And if you are killing enemies to construct a decent orphan annihilation arrow by cycling through, then you want to use that arrow on the enemies before you go. Now, there are some cupids that are alerted over there, so we should try and take these out. These are the sort of long shots that we should be avoiding like the fucking plague, I might add. These are the ones that cost you life. So I'm just waiting because there's some cupids just over yonder. The reason why you want to be dealing with cupids that you've alerted and that haven't, like, I could travel along a load of things and get them despawned. The reason why I want to deal with those three that I've alerted, he doesn't matter, is that when I teleport back here, they may have already decided to teleport onto me. And so they will teleport onto me when I come back. Oh, thanks very much. It's like a bug zapper. So again, from here, nothing is spawned down there, which makes jumping into that quite easy. This is one of those areas that's quite nice as well. I know that if I fire that shot too low, it'll fly down into the abyss. Why did I know that that shot was going to miss? No vibration. If I aim up tiny amount, and I'm just aiming at the pit, and I know if I aim too low, I'll miss, and if I aim too high, I could land up on the roof. If I aim low where it's not vibrating, and move it up just enough for it to vibrate, I know I'm going to hit the bottom of that pit entrance. And we're in. So the other thing to note with pits as well, is we know the order now. As long as we don't save it and go back, the order should go despair, agony, despair, agony, despair, agony. We've actually got quite lucky, and it has given us the correct order of pits. In this circumstance, we want the pit of despair, because it's easier, basically. And a nice easy way, a nice easy orphan to get. We've all been here with this orphan. It can be a bloody nightmare, especially if it's a lot further downstairs. Hold still, you little shit. And then we kill all of that. Retreat back up to the top. This is our safe space now. We can just wait here, have a little smoke, make sure we're using our slow time, maybe have a little drink as well. And wait for those cupids to either fly in, which they probably won't, or teleport in. Note how the moment I pressed the button on my vaporizer to begin the vaping process, he teleports in. That's just what they do. There's still... No, I think it's left. And again, I'm using copious amounts of slow time. I didn't actually realise we'd alerted those guys, so that was a bit fortunate. Slow time. Slow time is the big... They are annoying, yes. Slow time is your big counter to them. If you can't hit them, alert them, move out of their way, slow time. And slow time... by slow time as well, if you're new to the game, you might not know. If you hold the quiver select button, which is either X or Y on your left-hand controller, or in the same X or Y if you hold it in the left hand, as most people do, or if you are like Mr. Fish and cack-handed, you would use the A or the B button to put the game into slow. I've got nothing against left-handers. Well, except Fish, obviously. But if you use that quiver select button, it puts the world into slow time when you press and hold it for 5 seconds. And you can press and hold that as many times as you like. However, it isn't as powerful as it seems, because you have to become very good at it, and you have to be able to get into a rhythm at it. And there are lots of times that you can't put the game into slow time when you really want to. But that doesn't stop us being able to abuse it massively. And there are those people that think that slow time in this game is cheating. Well, gameplay purist. Fact of the matter is, slow time in this game is part of the game. And yeah, the other thing that I'll say as well, the sort of people that say that slow time is cheating in this game have never gone beyond cycle 10. Yeah, I'd say that's about true. So they don't know. They don't know the horror of not having slow time at those sort of cycles. Again, very easy statement to say that, you know, slow time is kind of like legitimate cheating is one of the best ones that I've heard. It's like, what? And again, that's not me. Oh, la-di-da, I can get to... You have to learn to play this way, otherwise you will not be able to progress. It's as simple as that. It's the best thing in our arsenal is slow time. Like, look at all this time that it buys me. And I can win these engagements very easily. No, you need slow time. So again, killing the one thing that both the Pit of Despair and the Pit of Agony, the two pits that are native to the Abyss, have in common is once you've killed enough enemies, you stop the incubi that guards the exit to the level from being petrified. He's made of stone when you first get here. If you rush all the way to where the incubi is, you'll see that he's made of stone and cannot be killed until you've killed a certain percentage of enemies within the level. Then he unpetrifies and, you know, will usually target you. One of the things that we want to do is once we kill that incubi, we can leave. So I'm going to stand here out of his line of sight, but with him alerted, and hope that he teleports in good time. Now, Cupids always teleport in on me when I want them to, when I'm trying to have a break and have a smoke or whatnot. Incubi usually take fucking ever, especially when I'm streaming. But my advice is, patience, young grasshopper, they will come. As long as you can hear them firing fireballs, hear those clinks that sound like arrows of the fireballs hitting walls. I have no idea why they never changed that sound effect either, because it sounds shit. If you can hear that, then eventually they will teleport. That sounds like my level of memory, that does, K2. It really does. Yes, you are forgetful. You will have definitely seen Barrage of Needles. Funnily enough, Barrage of Needles cannot be given to you during some of the boss fights. I think it's just Asmo's, potentially. I know this because I've seen this. He's got the explosives in him. We leave him, because that movement, whilst we're trying to aim an arrow at him, will get us to miss. Right? Right, Athom? Yeah, they're using it. Why can't we? Yeah, well, theirs is a bit more of an instant translocation Goku technique. So, but once we have killed that incubi by luring him over here, and by luring him over here, we don't have to nonsense around with all of these enemies that are now inconsequential and we don't want to kill. And we can also, if we point our hand at a power-up in this game, or an arrow or a quiver or what have you, and it splays open, you can hold trigger at any distance and attract it towards you. We are now back up to full life. The only caveat with this level, once you've killed the incubi, the way that I do this anyway, I'm going straight for that portal now, fuck all these guys, is you have to kill the summoner that's here, because if you try and go up that way, there's a possibility that you'll get tagged by his aura. The summoners have an aura very similar to Anakin. If you kill that one, you can get down there without touching that guy's aura, as long as you stick to this side. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. Didn't need to take that shot, I'm out. The moment your teleport arrow hits the portal, you are also invincible. So this is again part of the reason why you want to organise a quick escape. Because once your teleport arrow touches the portal, you are invincible. I believe it is this. Yeah, no, it's the same as well when you are going into the portal. But if you are going into a portal that you're expecting to come out of, make sure the area is clear, because you are only invincible when you go in and when you leave for a couple of seconds, and enemies can teleport to you, wind up their strike, and kind of wait out those invincibility frames. So that's why I think it is very important to either be in a safe area where there's no enemies alerted, or have cleared the area for when you're coming back. So other little top tips there. So let's get old not Annie Bob's Asmodeus done, and we'll see where we're at on the scoreboard. And so, yeah, like, again, I know I've played this a lot, and I have practiced this technique in particular a hell of a lot. The other thing to note as well is it's not that I can't do the whole completely destroying an area and getting headshots. It's just really hard and not that rewarding, and you can die very quickly. I had to play that way in the tournament, a little bit looser and faster than I would like to have done. Because in the tournament where we were doing that, there were no orphans and there were no pits. Not the tournament just gone, the tournament before that. Anyway, so we're going to cycle our arrow to something explosive. And we're going to use slow time to get the most out of that. And every time we see a Divine Sight arrow or Cupid's Wrath arrow, do yourself a favour and fire it into the fucking floor, otherwise it'll just take damage. But this ×3 or ×5 is what we want, and we want to put it across his chest to try and blow up 5 of the 6 in one shot. Like that. We can again use slow time. That lightning might not help us out so much. Let them get close and then move away. You can do this with slow time and sharding. And you don't even have to get your shield out. It's when those skulls get to within a certain proximity of you, they like go off like a grenade that's just had the pin pulled. And they are ready to explode. You don't have to have your shield up, they just need to get in proximity of you. And if you're using a combination of slow time, teleport arrows, or shards, you don't need to worry about them. Easy kills. They kill themselves. And again, do not fire at them, because it's just more opportunities to miss. They'll kill themselves quite happily. So hopefully the point that I'm trying to make here is getting through. No unnecessary shots, just shoot and kill what you have to. Like, for instance, I have to kill these guys for this part of the level to advance. Oh, go on, get those. Oh, excellent. That'll kill all of those. That'll kill everything there. You can have one of those. And now we wait. Again, killing these because we have to. Cupid's Wrath goes into the ground because that's a nice explosive. Arrow there. And Divine Sight for you. These are kind of like free shots, because even if they did miss, it wouldn't matter. That is not a free shot. Here's another thing as well. Divine Sight times 5. Firing them up to try and get them to carve down into enemies' heads is a good idea, because A, huge amounts of KO damage, and B, those actually all counted as headshots and got us some extra points. But I don't know, for us to make that term official, Von, I think you need to show us you beating him, I think this game needs a revisit. Maybe he'll appear in IDU 2 in cooperative mode if we ever get it. Doubtful at this point. So again, we want those homing arrows right now. Not that one. Not that one. And look how I'm using the slow time. Slow time shot. So I'm slow timing now. Shoot and slow time. I'll put that there just because I can. Because I like cupping Asmodeus, alright? What can I say? That isn't going to help us. It also gives us more time as well. If you do get another Hand of God, you have to recup Asmodeus, because if you fire it at anywhere else, that's the only spot that you can hit him that will actually put him into slow time. Divine Sight times 5! Perfect! About bloody time. So now how he's in slow time here as well. Those are going to do a little bit of work for us, and we fire that, and it's in the hope that it hits the skull. It doesn't happen every time, because sometimes it does that, and they just go straight under his armpit. But sometimes they'll curve round and do the good stuff. That was fortunate. Cycle, 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 cycle. Cupid's Wrath times 3, that'll do us. And now what I would say for this part, this is where you learn to vogue. And by vogue, I mean you move the hand across your vision, either right to left or left to right, depending on which way the rock is coming in, and you spam the shard button. Hello, weebs. So coming in from the left, I always shard into the rock. That I've never been hit by sharding into it. There's been times where I've tried to shard away from it and got it badly wrong and got hit. I think we've all been there with all sorts of ammunition within the game. So again, we're cycling here. I'll take that shot because I can make that shot. But again, it's all about as well where you can cycle arrows, trying to make things easy for yourself. Like for instance, I'm trying to make things easy for myself on this section by going to this little nub of rock. It saves me having to do the little rat race chase up these platforms, and it allows me, because the top platform spawns in first, to get up here, usually, before the enemies have spawned. If you go onto that one, then onto that one, then onto that one, it gives the enemies time to spawn. Coupled with the fact that those platforms don't come down fast enough for you to be able to jump down them quickly enough. Let's see if we can kill these boys up nice and fast. Can't block those! Ugh. Once he is far away, and we can push him far away by trying to get headshots in him, it doesn't matter too much if we did get an arrow that would be capable of killing other things. Also, if I turn around and look at the enemies now, those extra divine sights that didn't kill him would fly into those abominations that are behind me. But by looking away from them, the divine sights will follow my gaze. That's how that arrow works. Now, Divine Sight times 3. That's good, because we can use this like an orphan assassination arrow. We get away from the archer. We wait for his minions to not be around him. Might have to do some fancy sharding. We get right next to him, kill him, and carry on moving. So this is the standard way to do Asmo at this stage. You don't kill these abominations, because if you don't kill them, then the next wave doesn't spawn. You can kill about 2 or 3 of these in combination with the archer, then the next wave spawns. And after that wave is the hardest part, the incubi spawning. If we just kill the archer and nothing else, we've got kind of some time to play with, because you can kill 1 or 2 of these, but we don't want to be killing any of them. Do note, the rocks that Asmo throws is one of the only attacks in the game from an enemy that can do friendly fire. So that's why we don't want to kill everything too fast. Divine Sight is another great arrow for those horns. Hopefully you can see why it does all the hard work for us. And if we wanted to, if we really wanted to shine Asmo on, we can do some cycling on his dead body. Right now, he is dead, but he'll still count as registering hits. No points here, obviously, but we can get a decent arrow going into the next cycle. But be careful with this, because the moment that he starts dipping, you might miss, and it'll cost you some life. Divine Sight ×5, not bad. Lovely. So here's what I'm talking about losing out on resources. 3 Bloods of the Lamb, we don't need them. I would rather see this and this than picking up these 3 and being at half health. That's... And the whole throwaway thing that Al was on about earlier as well. Keeps the run nice and throwaway. So, 2 cycles down. How long's that taken us? So that's taken me 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I've been doing a bit of chatting. Because that's how we do things. We'll have a quick battery check as well. So, Resting Sanctuary. So, if you think you are capable of killing 10 orphans, getting the occasional headshot here, there and everywhere, doing the pits and doing that for 2 cycles, well, you can get onto the top page of IDU leaderboards in at least one section. And I'll tell you now, if you can use... well, the crossbow's actually a little bit easier to begin with and then becomes harder later on, because the crossbow is more suited to this style of play because it does more damage up close, even with special arrows. As you can see here, we're above Silicone. Silicone is a very good player. He will be in the top of this because he is a very good player. In fact, I think he won one of the season Fletchers, probably. That's Laurent Courtier from the Facebook group. If you didn't know, I think. Yeah, it is. And Stanky Storms, that's Al Storm, Adam Storm, Alan Storm. I just know him Storms, so. So, again, and like RB Avenue is a big player in the Siege of Heaven side of things, and I think he might be doing this the same way that I do it. And Knights Who Says Me is another very good player as well. And he's probably doing it properly. He's probably doing it where he's getting every single kill, every single headshot, every single bits and pieces. Jeff, that's it, not Alan. Jeff Storms. I just know him as Storms or FC. Was he on YouTube, FC Storms? Yeah, it is Jeff. Well done, Kim. Excellent memory. Mine's terrible. So, 600,000. Should we see how far we can go? So that's 300,000 on average, because there'll be some cycles where we won't get quite that much as well. So to be able to top the leaderboard, for those of you who are thinking, we would need to be able to do that for 8 cycles. We could try and get some headshots in between there as well, but then that's kind of moving away from the technique. Here's another thing as well. Every time you rest in Sanctuary and come back into the game, it changes your arrow. Now, if you were inclined, you could use that as a little bit of an exploit, because it kind of is. But yeah, I'll let you off. If you follow my way of doing things anyway, I'll definitely let you off. But you could use that to then get the arrow that you want without having to kill any other enemies. This is the perfect arrow for an Orphannihilation. So let's go and find that first. Deal with her. Now, if I was getting into the higher echelons, I know the pit can't be anywhere here. Might be able to be in there. Nope. We're going to head straight for the 3rd section of Purgatory. Yes, we alerted some things, but by quickly getting into the next section, we've already despawned them, so they ain't coming after us. Just hop past all of these boys. Is the pit here? Yes, it is. And we move. Again, normally I would get right to the back there and teleport in, but we've got... But this arrow is not meant for you. Please get out of the way. Now, I know the orphan is in only... Hello, Laurent. You are silly cones on here, aren't you? I just gave you a little shout out because we've just passed you on the leaderboard. Although I know you'll be top by the end of the season, so probably. So the orphan on this section, I think she can only spawn here. Hello. We are still doing enough damage with a volley ×5 to be able to one-shot her. And then we're out. Now, again, normally I would recommend, unless you were on death's door, going on and doing the pit first and doing the orphan second, unless you're on death's door, in which case, well, it's another easy 25 grand to grab. And the pits would you know, kinda give you an extra 25,000 points, but not an awful lot more than that, whereas the pit could mean death. As far as that's concerned, Weeble, I don't know if you know, but we have been doing a I'm Playing with Chat stream on Dungeons of Eternity, and I've been helping lots of people out. Now, if you haven't got time and your busy pensioner schedule to come and seek us out, well, I can hardly help that now, can I? So, on that note as well, just as I was thinking about that as well, but it's a good point, Weebs. Well done. We won't. I'm going to see about starting to do the Dungeons of Eternity thing every Saturday, at least for the foreseeable future, or unless something big comes up. There will not be that stream this Saturday. Reason being is it's my silly weekend this weekend, and I'm working. So no stream on Saturday, and then we're going to do something on Wednesday. I've got one of 2 games lined up. Lovely. I've got one of 2 games lined up. It'll either be Underdogs, because I'm actually quite interested in that game now that I've found out and saw that it's quite an interesting roguelike / roguelite. Don't know about the gorilla tag style movement, but the combat looks good, and I do like... Well, I don't like boxing, I like martial arts, but, you know, we can do that. But I love roguelikes. The other one that I saw the other day is this. Now, this is free on the App Lab if anybody wants to take a look at it. But just look at that. Now, I've had a little look at the game, not so just to basically make sure that it works. If anybody has seen the film The Descent, you'll get a pretty good idea. Crawling through caves, and there's other things in there. Bit of spelunking on Wednesday, I feel, unless I've got a copy of... what was it called? The Punchy Mech game. It's Underdogs, that's the one. So yeah, that could be terrifying. On that note as well, Descent was one of the more recent films that was a bit of a miserable watch for me. It's bloody terrifying. I hate everything about that film. Underground, tight spaces, risk of drowning, and something's in the dark and you don't really get to see it. Brilliant. So yeah, that should be pulse racing at the very least. Yes, I have seen the new Bubba Bo batteries. And I'm going to hold off for now because just putting the brightness down seems to do the trick. Oh, on that note, thanks, Von. Quick battery check whilst this skeleton tries to teleport down my throat. Shit. Missed that one. You missed that one. Try another. Hang on a second, skeleton warrior. I fucking faffed that down the back of my... There we go. Hang on. Wait. Power's a slow time. Ooh, volley 5. This arrow is not meant for you. No orphan. I was expecting to see it by now. So this is... It's when you get to these higher cycles, especially with skeleton archers, where this technique gets a bit risky. But again, note how I am moving through, well, unfortunately, quite a small level quite quickly, and things are despawning quicker than they get chance to attack me. I hope she's here. Is she here? It's not here. Damn. Ah, there she is. Hello. Oh. And dead. And now we're going to try and retreat to somewhere that's a little bit safer than this. There aren't a lot of options, so let's go back to the start. Now, we will have a lot of things on our tail, but if we keep moving... we'll be able to deal with some of it on the way. Oh, really? How long have you had them for then, Weebs? Because I haven't had mine that long. Mine are reasonably new. I am kicking myself a little bit because I started getting the Bobo solution for the whole battery side of things. I only got it recently. And, yeah, kind of, if I'd held out, I could have had the better solution. But I wouldn't have been able to do as longer streams as I do at the moment, or... Wait, hello. I'm just going to have to dodge him. Again, powers of slow time, as long as I'm using it. At this cycle, he shouldn't be able to hit me. Fire those into the ground to make sure we get maximum damage. And calm. Reasonable calm. Now, note how we have, like, bounded across the level and pretty much alerted everything within the level. And this is part of the reason why taking out the orphan... Oh, I see, I didn't get... Thank you. Hello, Steel Fox. Thank you, Steel Fox. I didn't get one of those. I got the conversion kit. I cheaped out on the conversion kit. I still got ripped off on the conversion kit, but I picked up a conversion kit from Amazon for $24.99, and then this was whilst it was out of stock, and I didn't realise I'd got scalped. It was only for a few quid, though, and I kind of needed it because I wanted to play my Quest 3. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a chat with... Maybe I... Oh, right, okay. Oh! Oh, well, in that case, maybe this season, Fletcher, is my season. So, again, I'm going to... So, part and parcel of the reason why I do what I do, which Laurent will be aware of as well, is I haven't got the time to be able to put #1 scores in. Hell, I don't even know if I've got the ability anymore because things have changed. The game has got harder. The meta has changed a little bit. But let's just pretend that it's I haven't got time, you know, because excuses. That's one of the reasons why I love this mode and I love this way of doing it, because I can get a decent score in an evening or in an afternoon. Or I can stream getting a decent score. I like that. No, that was not the target I was going for. So this is the whole me slowing down a little bit and trying to lure enemies in bits and pieces at a time. You're going to have that, aren't you? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing... The thing is, there's nothing wrong with mine at the moment. Again, firing up to try and get those headshots. We can hear that we're getting the headshot noise. That's just extra points for firing the shot a little bit differently than what we would. Because Divine Sights are actually quite good against Incubi if you can get the headshots. And the work is done for you, and you can't miss. Or, well, you can miss, but if you do, it doesn't matter. You don't take damage from it. But yeah, I've got 5 M2 batteries. I bought the headset for the Pico originally and got 2. And then with the charger. And then I bought the M2 for my Quest 2 because I was that impressed with the Pico one. And so then I thought, well, what a great idea to have batteries that I can cycle across both of my headsets. And then on top of that, Shuey was good enough to sell me a couple of his extras because he's got fucking loads. So I now have a grand total, of 5. See, that was a shot that we didn't really need to take, and those are the kind of misses that I'm talking about here. Also note, if you hit a shield with an arrow, that counts as a hit. I wouldn't recommend it for cycling arrows, because we don't really want to be cycling arrows here. We want to be putting out damage to kill things. But it is... Wait. I'm going to have to retreat here a little bit. Got a lot of shit coming in. A lot of nasty. A lot of ghosts. And not a particularly good arrow either to deal with them. So, for my next trick, once we've done the pit... God, you guys are everywhere. We'll see about... Yeah, no, I feel that. I'm well out of practice on this mode, but I feel like I've put enough time into this mode, because I fucking love this mode, that I can get it back quite quickly. But then also, the way that you play Fletcher is the proper way. The way that I play Fletcher is the silver-tongued devil way, which is just the wrong way, but faster. But hey, it's repeatable by some people, right? Oh, that was a great headshot. I know some people in the chat have had a lot of success with doing Fletcher this way and got scores that they didn't think they were capable of. So... yeah, I mean, I didn't pay anything like that last time, but I think that's because I didn't get the Bobo from the official channels. Ow! Oh, that was a ghost. From the official channels last time. I think I got it through Amazon, not the official shop. What I'm tempted to do, but it then probably means I have to do a review of it, is... I could potentially go, I'm a content creator, give me free things. I don't like doing it, but I probably could. Probably could. But as I said, it then comes with probably with the caveat of me doing reviews, and to be fair, I don't want to be unfair with them because I don't do reviews. So it's one of the things that I was thinking about the other day. I think I said in the last stream as well, it's like, what's the point of doing reviews when you can try the game out for yourself for 2 hours and decide whether you like it or not? Now, I'll give recommendations of what I think are good games, but then, I don't know, maybe hardware would be a good place to start. But part of the reason, like... You'd think that I would be overqualified to do a review of this game, wouldn't you? You'd think, like, yeah, if anybody could do a review of this game and be able to be positive and negative about it and speak about every element of it, it would be me. I still don't think I'm qualified, and I put silly amounts of time into this game over the years, so... It's quite a skill to review a game. And that was because the explosions went off and shifted him slightly, causing me to miss that shot. Notice as well, we're also firing up, and my arrows are going a little bit miffy because that's just something that I've noticed Quest 3 does worse than the Quest 2. Aiming up is not particularly great. Alright, let's get you finished up. Where are you going? Oh, good. He's got explosives in him, so we'll let him blow up. Lovely. Right, let's kill you with those. Did not kill you, so let's go and finish you off before you become a problem. And then let's see what other stuff we can lure in. So we'll start with the closest. Again, lots and lots and lots of slow time. The only thing that I find that you do need to worry about here, in this sort of scenario, is the Fletcher mode giving you multiple... Hello. Actually, help me out there, boys. Thanks very much. Is the Fletcher mode giving you multiple Cupid's Wraths? Because Cupid's Wraths will go through ghosts and won't flinch them. And that can be an absolute pain in the ass. It won't cost you any damage, but it allows the ghosts to get closer. Try and demonstrate. Oh no, it doesn't go through them. It does explode on, but it doesn't flinch them because it's not technically a hit. Nothing's poked into them, so they don't flinch from the explosions. And that can, when you're in the mode of slow time shot, slow time shot, slow time shot, you get a few of these, and those explosions don't stagger them, and it allows them to close the distance on you. Oh, just give me the health, would you? So we'll take that, and we'll take that, and then we'll leave. See how we did on health. We've already killed the Orphan. We've got a Cupid's Wrath ×3, and we're almost back up to top. And again, as I said, this is the way that I try and budget my life, is shouldn't be losing any life on Anakin, except up until high cycles. And then when you start losing health on Anakin, you're usually dead. I shouldn't be losing health on Paradise Lost, because we don't actually spend any time there. I shouldn't be losing health on Gabriel, because again, it's just a very easy boss if you are patient. Ooh, that's a good arrow. Ah, no, I'll show you how to do Anakin properly in Fletcher mode. Although that is a good arrow. What sort of time are we on? I probably can't get here in an hour. Or maybe, if I was quick. Let's try, shall we? Okay. So, when you start getting to Anakin at higher cycles, if you are experienced in room clearing, in slow timing him and using combinations of taking down his waves of archers, a way that I found to do him that seems to be quite effective for me is technically you want to start off your initial barrage on Anakin with a Winter's Bite. And the reason being is because we know that that will do enough tick damage to set off the first 2 waves of archers, and it will do a hefty chunk of damage to his health bar. The problem is, that's quite a long distance, and as big a target as he is, you can miss that Winter's Bite. I know, I do it all the time. So what arrow do I definitely know I can get a hit on Anakin, will do a decent amount of damage, and should trigger at least 1 or 2 waves. Divine Sight will do the job. So I'll sit in our normal place, wait for him to start turning, and then fire off my shot. And I also fire it high in the hope that it might hit him in the head. It didn't on that occasion. That should do enough damage to spawn these 2. And we're just basically going to have to do this even slower time than usual. Yeah, I don't know about that fan. I think they might have, like, I don't know if that was a design decision, like, oh shit, we've given the questers too much power now. Quick, what could we use to suck up some of that excess power? Keep their batteries reasonably short. Forehead fan? Right. Getting a promotion. So, we've pinged off 1. We still want to avoid misses. We also, where we can, want to avoid putting hits. This is a bad place to do him, actually. Putting hits past Anakin, because there's a chance that we'll take out the knights, but I don't think there's much chance of us not being able to do that. Has that not done enough damage to him yet? By Jove, it hasn't. Okay, what we'll do, we'll go over here. So basically what I'm going to try and do... Oh, perfect. That's worked out quite nicely. So we'll take out these guys. Damn. Not a miss, because it's divine sight. Oh, that's good then. It's overly dramatic, isn't it? Right, so what we ideally want to do is to get him over here again. And this is by doing this whole silver lining technique. The reason why we want him over here is we want to stay away from the knights, and we want to proc off these next 3 archers here. We'll pop a Winter's Bite in him. That should do enough. Let's kill what we can here. This is the one... Azure's Fury should be a great arrow here, but it's got a tendency of hitting the knights and triggering them. We don't really want that, but it's probably going to happen anyway. I usually consign myself to having to fight the knights here, whether I want to or not. Let's see... Oh, hello, boys. Didn't realise you'd come in. Gonna kill these guys. Oh, look at that. That's a miss. Hello. Ow. Where's that last one gone? There he is. Now, well, I'm making a bit of a mess of this, but I'm trying to demonstrate a concept at the same time. What we want to do is we want to kill those 2 and those 3. And the reason being is because I now want to sit on this pillar and Anakin come towards me. Haven't maneuvered him quite as well as I would like to. The reason why I have done this... Oh, you little... The reason why I have done this is because if we've spawned these monks, there's nowhere left within my line of sight that monks can spawn anymore, which means that they have to spawn behind me. Now, one of the things that I have found out is that if a monk spawns behind you and you don't look at it, it has 2 options. It can teleport into your field of view, or it can stay there. So we have done enough damage, and you can hear them hissing and doing their Fonzie impression behind me. But note how none of them have teleported into my field of view yet. And because we've got so many effects out here as well, if they do... Oh, that's a bad one. A lot of the effects that are here will kill them. Oh, they seem to be teleporting in a lot nastier numbers. But yeah, so the concept is... Again, that was not as smooth as it could be. But the concept is, what I've found... And again, that wasn't perfect. And I think there might have been some changes this season as well, because a lot of those teleported into my field of view, is that with the crossbow, you can get up till about cycle 4, and it'd be quite easy to burn... Well, not easy. You can get past about cycle 3 or cycle 4, and it'd be quite easy to burn Anakin down. I just sit on him and launch a bunch of arrows. From about cycle 3 with the bow, you kind of need to start implementing this technique, because you can't burn him down fast enough. You need to kill him quick, and before the archers teleport in and start firing arrows off of you, and as he doubles and triples and quadruples his health, that becomes harder and harder. So what we try and do is spawn the monks in so that these have already been taken up, and then we use this pillar so that we can't see any of the other alcoves that are over there. So that then means that even if the monks do teleport into them, they can't see us and get line of sight on us. We kind of use this pillar to guard our left, and then burn Anakin down here when he has taken maybe half of his health. So hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate it a little bit better next time. But yeah, this is the, I suppose, problem that you can have with this style of Fletcher, is Anakim becomes quite difficult the further and further you get through it. In fact, Anakim is probably one of the big problems within the game. Now, let's see if we can cycle our arrow up to something that will be useful on a Orphan. Now, Cataclysm times 5 is good, but there's a problem with it, which I will hopefully not demonstrate, in that explosive damage comes after the initial shot. There isn't one, Weebs. There isn't one in this mode. It's only the ones down below. We're on Fletcher, remember? So the problem with this is this doesn't give us that one-shot KO, especially, well, it will at lower cycles. I don't know if it will here, but it doesn't quite give us that one-shot KO potential, because the damage that is done by the arrows is big, but then the damage that is done by the explosions afterwards happens a few seconds afterwards. We want to be in, kill, gone. We don't want to be waiting round. We also don't want to get too far away from the Orphan and make her despawn. Let's go and check where she could be. I wonder if she'll be in the same place again. This is exactly the same configuration as we had last time. And there is a possibility. This is something that I haven't had a chance to test. Where was she last time? She was up there, wasn't she? Where are you this time, you little shit? You're downstairs. There you are. So, put that into her. It's not enough to kill her outright, and that's ideally what we want. However, give her a couple of seconds. That should be enough to do her over. But that's not what we're aiming for here, and that's why Cataclysm times 5 is alright on the first couple of cycles as a Orphanihilation arrow, but it isn't ideal because it doesn't kill straight away. There are plenty of times where I've put the Cat 5 in, done that amount of damage, run away, and the Orphan has despawned, which then means the Cat 5 doesn't go off and damage her and kill her. Which then means you basically have to try again, which has its own problems. Come on. Off you go. So again, get behind these pillars, obscure our view with part of the pillar so that he's able to get into his ideal firing spot. I like to look the opposite way and put my shield up just in case he decides to tuck a fireball round the pillar. I've had him do that loads of times. And then step out, slow times and shots. Hand of God is perfect. Blind sight. Now, note how I have a Winter's Bite in him, and I've just lined up a Wildfire. Now, normally I would take that shot, but he's currently taking 421 damage per tick from freeze. If I use Wildfire on him now, it will overwrite that Winter's Bite tick damage. Now that that tick damage has stopped, now I'll put the Wildfire in him. I'll put some more in him as well. There's another Winter's Bite. I would rather hit him with the Winter's Bite. The Winter's Bite tick damage will be in the hundreds, whereas Wildfire's like 60, I think. Put some more arrows in him. Like Wildfire, I want to make sure he is not being tick damaged from Winter's Bite before I hit him with this. He is not. Hellfire. Another Hand of God. Cataclysm. Messieurs. Now he's getting to the sort of range where I should stop shooting him. Because he's outside of the bubble and he's getting further and further away. And the further and further away he is, if you are still shooting, basically the more chance that you will get a one of the shit arrows, like Holy Light, and it'll just fire and then pathetically dip into the white and you lose life. What we got? Curse of God. I'm not shooting you. You can get closer. So I'm literally just switching from side to side now and waiting out his fireball attacks until he does a sweep. Wait for the sweep. And then body shots or headshots if you're confident. Oh, still alive? I thought it was worthwhile taking that shot because that curse does very little damage. And wasted. Does anyone else need a Blood of the Lamb on their Fletcher run? There's one there if you want to grab it. I think I could put it in my backpack and bring it back for me, back with me for you. Be ideal, wouldn't it? Alright. Time wheel, most importantly, have passed. We can get a bit more done. So yeah, I have made a point of starting to do Anakim in a more technical format. Interesting. Someone's muted me. I can't be low battery. Charge that up. Might have just caught it with my headset. Good catch. Good catch, K2. I was hearing all of that. Yes, you're quite right. There's no way I could be quiet for that long. Right. Here I am. Let me know if it goes off again. We might have to end the stream a little prematurely, or I could subject you to... I know, right? I know. Right, I think we'll try that again. If it goes again, let me know. Right, world's first coming up. I'm just going to put the... Just going to put the mic on charge for a little bit. Very far away. Oh. What's it playing at? It doesn't look like it's long battery. Ah, yeah. Interesting. With chat? I'll just edit all this bit out, yeah? I won't remember to do that. Yeah, probably not wrong, K2. Maybe it's trying to give me trying to tell me. It's trying to tell me something. Let's try that. The only thing that I can think of is maybe catching the mic with something, but I always wear it all like this. So, yeah. And I'm potentially turning it off by accident. Because it's charged. It's charged! It's honestly charged! Right. What I'll do, if I hear it go off again, then it might either be a problem with the mic or a problem, or if you guys tell me it's gone off again, it might be a problem with the mic, or it might just need charging, or it's discharged, or something silly like that. I don't know. But it didn't look like it was uncharged. Anyway, so if that does happen, what I'll do is I'll put it on charge, finish up what I'm doing, pick it back up, do an outro, and then we'll Foxtrot Oscar a little early. Anyway. So, like I was saying, as far as Anakin's concerned, I always feel like when I'm... At this point, I'm beginning to believe that the Anakin bit is... I'm pretty sure it's battery. I'm just going to put it on charge whilst I do this bit. Now, we'll probably sound very far away whilst I'm doing this. Isn't it just? Right. Let's get this done quick. Orphan. Weirdest stream ever. trying to be quiet. It's not a natural state for me. Look, see? Made of stone. I'm on the toilet, having a quick breakout. I'm trying to be quiet, but as I said, it doesn't come naturally. Hello, Indy. I'm having microphone issues at the moment. I'm very professional. Made of stone, see? No, Alan, you can't. I did try. Can't even hit him. Maybe for you. Very unnerving for me. Well, I'll just get Asmo done, and we'll see what we're like on the old mic then. Yeah, I think we did. So it's actually quite a good. Where's the mic? There it is. It's actually quite a good technique. God, this is a really weird way of presenting. It's actually quite a good technique if you don't really remember whether you've killed the orphan in a specific bit or not. You should kind of have an idea of what your score should be. So you can check the score and go, yeah, I probably got him, or probably not. Providing you don't miss any. Providing you don't miss any! Stupid microphone. I would put the Quest microphone back on, but I don't think you can actually do that midstream. You can't change the settings. So I'll probably have to do this, and then we'll do a quick outro. See if I got battery for that. Yeah, I think I'll be pretty good, Kim. Don't you? Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I don't know about your microphone packaging, Kim, but I wouldn't want mine to say that it's passed any sort of test in relation to STDs, really. But I like the enthusiasm, though. Good idea. Guess I'll just have to do more arm gesturing then when I'm trying to make a point. Stupid bloody microphones! Weird for you, it's more weird for me! Oh dear. Well, to be fair, it sounds like you guys did a pretty good job of keeping things going whilst I'm charging, so I'm just going to let you go off on it. I approve. I approve of subtitles. Yeah. As Laurent said, you can make divine sights and cupids do a lot of work for you. Even when he's not showing off his dorsal flanges. Come on. just take out the archer! Just the archer! Yeah, she's always like that! See, Job! Said easy job. Right. I think we can all agree that that collectively was a weird experience for both you lot and me lot as well. Having to shout down the corridor at you is not ideal. Yes, quite the menace. Right, well, I don't know why that is. I thought I'd charged my microphone up, but these things do happen. Although they don't usually happen to me. I'm usually really well prepared with those things. Should have had a battery pack on standby, but I didn't. Anyway, so gave you all a little bit of a break there at the end. So, you know, instead of talking so much, I got to yell at you down the corridor. Hello, Dart. Oh, hello for that. Sorry, it says the Dark Katie. I remember this from last time. Hello for that. How we doing? And no, it wasn't a new challenge, me yelling down the microphone at people. That's just my microphone failing. No, we were just doing some Orphanihilation, so just taking out the orphans, just finishing up the pits as quickly as possible, just killing the bosses, nothing else, in the Fletcher sigil, to see how we would get on. So we are now at the beginning of cycle 4. So if you can just kill the orphans in the level, just kill the orphans in the pits, just do the bosses, and just get 3 cycles deep, you can make the top 10. Now, that hasn't taken me very long. Hell, even if it took you double the time to do it yourself, I think this is quite achievable for a lot of you who watch me. The watchwords are slow time. Slow time and prepping your arrows for the situation that is going to be coming up next. Be it an Orphanihilation, be it just getting you a good opener on the next boss that's coming up, or so on. And on that microphone failing bombshell, we will end it there. I'm going to have to be a little bit premature tonight because, yeah, the old microphone's probably about to fail again. So this has been In Death Unchained on the Quest 3. We have been doing Orphanihilation. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.